Folks, let me tell you about my good friend Todd Nettleton from the Voice of the Martyrs. For over 2 decades, Todd has risked his life to bring attention to the persecution of Christians around the world. Now he's written a powerful book called Faith is Forbidden, detailing his travels and experiences. As a special gift to my listeners, you can get a free copy of this incredible book by simply clicking the link in the description below or call 844-464-3043. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com, and subscribe to our podcast here at the bitcoin.com studio. There are street takeovers happening in Los Angeles. We have crime all across California. We're trying to get our U.S. attorneys in, but the Senate needs to figure themselves out. But joining us now is the acting U.S. attorney for the Central District of California, with a lot to discuss, Bill Isaly. Bill, great to see you. Thank you for joining the program. What are some of the fights that you guys are engaged in California to bring down crime? Please walk us through it.
Charlie, thanks for having me on. And since I've gotten here in April, we have taken on a huge initiative here. I would say the first thing I've made a priority is going after this homelessness fraud that happens here in the state of California. We've had $24 billion spent over 5 years, and it's only gotten worse. And there's a lot of people who've seen and been enriched off that. So we have open investigations into that, and I think you'll be seeing some of the fruits of that here very soon. We are going after sanctuary cities and jurisdictions. We have Operation Guardian Angel, where we are getting warrants for criminals in state custody, and they are required to hand them over to us, which they are not required to comply with the detainer, but they have to comply with a warrant. We're going after street gangs. Just yesterday at 5 a.m., we did a takedown of the Hoover street gang in LA in the Figueroa corridor, which is one of the worst sex trafficking corridors probably in the world. It's horrendous what happens there. You have young women and children as young as 14 years old being pimped out by these gang members. And yesterday we indicted and took out 11 of the leaders of this organization who are pimping out these girls and these children. And we're very proud of doing that. That's the work that the Department of Justice is doing to clean up our communities, where the prior administration was busy weaponizing the department. We're out there making the American people safer. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah, and so how is that being received by mayors, local leaders? Are some Democrats fighting this crackdown on crime?
No, actually, behind the scenes, they're begging us to take these cases. They understand that they don't have the ability to go after these thugs in the state system. California has watered down their criminal justice system. They have no real punishment for their felonies. They're closing prisons left and right, so they don't have the ability to incarcerate people and to have meaningful consequences. So they beg us to take these cases. Where they are fighting us, Charlie, is on the immigration enforcement. We are having our Border Patrol and ICE are going out every day arresting hundreds of illegal immigrants, criminal illegal immigrants, and they are fighting us tooth and nail on that. They're sending out these thugs to resist our agents, and we are charging people. I filed over 53 cases for assaults and interference with our agents, and that's where they're focusing their opposition.
Yeah, and so what is your status in front of the U.S. Senate? I mean, are you confirmed? You're acting? Tell us.
My status in front of the U.S. Senate is I have no status. I've never been nominated to the Senate because the senators here, Alex Padilla and Adam Schiff, have refused to even, my understanding is, meet with the White House or have discussions with the White House. So I was appointed by the Attorney General as the interim U.S. Attorney, which gave me the ability to serve in that position for 120 days. At the end of that 120 days, the judges had the opportunity to make me the permanent U.S. Attorney. They declined to do so here, which is unsurprising. But they did not name a replacement, unlike what they tried to do Alina Habba there to impose their own prosecutor. They just did nothing in this district. So because of that, I am now what's called the acting U.S. Attorney. I'm a DOJ employee, and I'm the top DOJ employee in the office, so that effectively makes me the acting U.S. Attorney here. And that's our workaround right now, because my understanding is there's no appetite in the United States Senate to modify the blue slip process, which allows Democrat senators like Adam Schiff and Alex Padilla to have a veto over the president's appointees. Yep. It makes zero sense to have this process.
We spoke out against the blue slip, and Chuck Grassley is the kind of one overseeing it. Just so we are clear, you're doing a great job, but you will not be able to be a permanent U.S. attorney as long as a Democrat vetoes you. So basically, we win an election, and then we don't get to have our U.S. attorneys, even though we voted for secure border going on cartels, because you have a couple U.S. senators of a non-constitutional, purely procedural gentleman's club where they say, oh, we're going to able to kind of get in the way of this. It is a ridiculous system. It will not allow us to get President Trump's people in Oregon, in Washington, in California, in Arizona, in Georgia, in New Jersey, in New York, in Massachusetts, and in Maine. Maine, we have Susan Collins, but still Angus King getting in the way of it. Those blue supporters, they need to get a pink slip, basically, we said. So walk us through, what are the other issues that we are fighting, that you are fighting firsthand in California, and how present is the cartel activity?
And real quick on the blue slip thing, Charlie, it's not just U.S. attorneys. You're talking about judges. When you look at all the judges who are issuing TROs or injunctions, we had a judge issue a TRO against our Border Patrol agents here because they don't want them to do the immigration enforcement. All those judges are basically, they have to go through the senators. The senators, through this blue slip tradition, it's really a tradition, it's not a law or anything, it allows them to be the kings of their states. So these Democrat senators walk around like they're kingmakers. They pick the U.S. attorneys, they pick the judges, they run the place. And what I've seen does not happen in the reverse, Charlie. In Republican states, Republicans don't exercise their power that way. You know what they say? Barack Obama won the election. He deserves to have his people. And so they allow the president to pick his people in Republican states. But in blue states, Democrats refuse to do that. So it's a bigger issue than just U.S. attorneys. On cartels, there is no shortage of crime here. Even though we are not a border district, we're not technically on the border, we are still considered a border district in the eyes of the DOJ. We do some of the largest, most impactful drug interdiction cases. We have a lot of illegal immigrants in this district, millions of illegal immigrants in this district. We file what's called 1326 cases. This is when someone is deported and they re-enter. It is now a federal felony. Under the Biden administration, they stopped filing those cases. We have filed over 900 just this year. So that's just a little flavor of the work that we're doing here. Almost every day we're indicting some drug trafficker, gang member, someone with guns and drugs, some child molester or trafficker. I mean, there's no shortage of crime. It just doesn't get reported the way the other stuff does in the media.
Okay, let's now go to cut 435. This is Karen Bass fighting Trump's raids. I'm going to play this and say, isn't it time to start indicting these mayors? I mean, they're allowed to just fight against President Trump's immigration policy. Play cut 435.
We're all here today in solidarity to say that we will continue to resist. We are not going to accept this behavior from this administration, and that Los Angeles stands united.
So, again, that's not, she's like standing with the immigrant community fighting against. I mean, is it legal for a mayor to defy federal law enforcement?
It is not legal for a mayor to defy federal law enforcement. It is illegal for her to interfere with federal law enforcement. What they do is they try to kind of walk this line where they say, we're not going to cooperate, we're not going to help you, and we're just going to make it very clear that we don't like you. The thing that would cross them into the criminal territory is if they took actions to actually impede or interfere with our ability to do our job. And Charlie, if I could say, first of all, I'm not going to talk about any investigations that we may or may not have, but this to me is a problem that is easily remedied by Congress. Sanctuary cities have been challenged in the courts, and what the courts have said is that states do not have to use their state resources to help the federal government. Now, what Congress could very easily do is say, fine, you're not going to get a penny from the federal government unless you get rid of your sanctuary policies. This is how we regulate highway speeds. That's why we have speed limits in every state. This is why we have a drinking age of 21 in every state. That is how the federal government compels states to do things.
Simple
is
leverage.
With money.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. But we are behind you. We're going to do everything we can to get you confirmed. Under the current system, you're not going to get confirmed unless the Senate fixes this ridiculous blue slip thing. Bill Iseli, thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.